in return to Heidegger, he was saying that, look, before you can think, you must exist. In fact, he described it again in poetic language by saying that being opens a door for thinking, or even thinking opens a door for being. You can see it either way. By thinking about the wrong things, you're not thinking. It's very German, it's very existentialist, I know. But this is, to me, this is extremely profound. By not thinking about what thinking should be thinking about, you're not thinking. And the ultimate goal of thinking, which another philosopher would call an object of thought, is existence. No one today is thinking about existence or being, right? Because you're not thinking about existence and being, you're actually not really thinking at all. And therefore, Heidegger had a multiplicity of ways of describing that inauthentic, to use a very broad existentialist term, inauthentic state of consciousness that he subdefined as being das Man and all these other terms that are sort of irrelevant for this dialogue here. But he basically divided man, as Kierkegaard did, into the authentic and inauthentic individual. And the inauthentic individual is thinking, but he's thinking about, things that are not important in a philosophical sense. And then, relating to what we've just been saying in the last lot of minutes, he includes that to be the highest philosophers of the land. The greatest philosophers who ever lived, he puts into that same category, perhaps for slightly different reasons, but nevertheless, he put them all in that category. A guy like that's not going to he's not going to be invited to too many parties, and he's not going to have too many friends. So this describes, the backlashing against Martin Heidegger. He said that thinking opens a door for being to enter. He really often spoke in terms of being in the German as a presence, as an actual thing. It's a real thing. But to stick more to what he was saying, when you are thinking about existence, and he then even changes the terminology. He moves from saying you think about being to that you care for being. He changed the term. In German it's Sorge, right? It's a profound sense of caring. Other people would call it loving, and of course then we have all the baggage that word has, so we never use it. Caring is a far deeper word. In fact, Thomas Moore, the author, pointed out that the word cure, which meant priest, is the equivalent of the word care. And in Thomas Moore's work, he said that at a time of great grieving, like at a death of a parent or grandparent, everyone gathers, everyone dresses in black, everyone is somber, and everyone's in deep grief. The cure, or the priest, is there to remind you of the presence of death. And not that they're actually doing this, of course, the Christians, but that's the theory. And the higher theologians know this. He's there to be the presence behind the grieving, to say all is sorrow. Sabhe dukum, and he's the one you rest on or you turn to say, Father, what is this all about? All is suffering, all is... So the presence of the cure is to remind you, wake up from the cups and the saucers, like Rilke has so beautifully described. Get up from the table, walk out and find the church that your fathers forgot. Answer the call of being. Theology, of course, has abused this. So have the philosophers, according to Heidegger. Let's bring it back. Bring back the intense awareness of the care of your existence. How it becomes existentialism is why I'm most intrigued personally, is because he's saying care about your existence. Do not contaminate what I'm saying with the care of humanity's existence, brother, next door neighbor, the underprivileged, the oppressed, whatever. We're talking only in existential terms here about your own profound relationship with yourself, if that's even possible. Which Heidegger doubted because he had a whole class of people who can't do this, the inauthentic das Man. He was under no illusions about it. Neither was Sigmund Freud, by the way. But the point being that keep this private, because it's not your beingness, your sense of existence is really ultimately not the same as others. Later on in the second part of Being and Time, he spoke more broadly about mass movements, and how we are kindred. So he wasn't an existentialist in the hardcore tradition. He also talked about all of mankind's responsibility for this.